Hey, welcome back, everyone. Happy
Woohoo!
Monday. Hope
Happy
you
Monday.
enjoyed your weekend.
Oh, yes.
Thanks for logging in and joining us for another Monday noontime edition of the Attractions Podcast, recording live. Before we launch our recording, we will just check in with our friends in the chat. And as always, Michael Bingham's in there waiting for us. Hello, Michael. He is
Yay.
excited just a little bit about happy halfway to Halloween. And that is definitely something that is going to be on the discussion today for sure. I hope you had a good weekend, Michael. Um, Blossom, Witches, and Terry Bogart in Derek's Corner. Thanks for checking in, folks. And yes, Brian Sager is pouring one out for Murphy the Dragon, and that will definitely be on our agenda for today. Um, he's leaving California and doing boysenberry for the
Oh,
first time this weekend.
the best.
Enjoy, get a tasting lanyard because you're going to want everything there.
Tried the boysenberry bread pudding. I'm not like a sweets person. I always go savory. It was so amazing. Have
Yes.
so much fun.
And I always like anything with the boysenberry barbecue sauce.
Me too. I got the barbecue pizza this year. It has the meatballs.
Mm,
It had just the meatballs last year, but
yes.
now it's meatballs on the pizza. So good.
So we've got a few people in the chat. So I think it is just about time to kick this show off. And we are going to start this thing in 3, 2.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 188 of the Attractions Podcast, sponsored by MEI and MEI-Travel, and our newest sponsor, My Happy Place Jewelry. I'm Seth.
And I'm Carly.
And we are here to talk to you about the latest and greatest in theme park news and more, as well as what is going on in our own lives. And Carly, we were both in Orlando at the same time. We did not cross paths. So what were you up to in the City Beautiful this week?
So I checked off probably one of the last Orlando hotels on my bingo card that I've been dying to stay at, and it's the
free space, everything.
Right, the JW Marriott Bonnet Creek. I loved it. I spent like a few days just there. I also had to work while I was there, so it was perfect. You know, they have a lot of working spaces because it's like a 50 leisure, 50 convention crowd. Wonderful time. I stayed in one of my now favorite kid suites ever. So if you have seen the picture of him, I need to post him. The bedroom is like a huge loft for kids, and it was so cool, but it was super modern. Like the kids room even had, I would say, like a luxury bathroom. So they had a baby bathrobe. They had little baby slippers. It was so cute. Definitely a good option. It attaches to a normal adult room, so you can like put your kids in one room, you're in the other room. I dined at the restaurants there. Illume is their Japanese fusion restaurant on the rooftop. I think that was one of, if not the best meals I've ever had in Orlando.
Wow. That's a bold statement because you and I have had some pretty good meals together in Orlando. So
absolutely, like some of the best meals. Exactly, like some of my favorite restaurants. I mean, the Orlando scene is so cool. And Illume was not the one recognized by the Michelin Guide, but I would kind of be shocked when they make the announcements. I think it's May. If it isn't, the A5 is incredible. So good. And then I also ate at Sear and Sea, which is their steakhouse on the bottom level, which is recognized by the Michelin Guide. Also excellent. Everything I ate there, even like at the lobby bar, I got like Brussels sprouts and this tahini sauce. Everything was delicious. So
now, I think a lot of people maybe don't consider the Bonnet Creek resorts when they're planning their vacation because they don't totally understand what they are, because they're kind of inside of Disney property, but they aren't on Disney property. So when you were staying there, do you feel like you're at a Disney resort? Do you feel like you're away from Disney? What's it like?
So Bonnet Creek is weird. It's like almost like its own little road, its own little city, but it is within the gates. I love those hotels because it's literally, I took a Lyft to Epcot when I had like an hour break. It was like 7 minutes.
Wow. So you're really close.
Yeah. So close. I popped into like Magic Kingdom one afternoon when I had a little bit of time. You're so close, but the hotel feels so far removed. So it is perfect. It's definitely for a certain type of traveler. It is definitely upscale. It's definitely family friendly. They have pools. They have an insane kids club, probably one of the best ones I've ever seen, that has an attached roof that has, they can go out. There's a full mini golf course. There's a full rock wall. Yeah, I feel like no one talks about it because they're kind of quiet, which is weird because I was like, is this a leisure resort? And they said, yes, 50% are going to Disney parks. So it's maybe if you want to, I am like that too. I like to like have that whole hustle and bustle and then totally leave that crazy world and just like unwind. So that is what this is.
Well, that sounds like a fantastic trip.
Yes.
I was mostly still a typing cat in my office, working on my books. I actually finally got most of my deadlines, so yay! That's good for now.
Took long enough.
I did make it out to make it to Animal Kingdom on Saturday, the 22nd, Earth Day, for the 25th anniversary of the park. I was not there at dawn for the ceremony. I did not wait in line to meet Moana or get any exclusive merchandise. But I gotta say, I did have an absolutely perfect Animal Kingdom evening. I showed up around 5 o'clock. I did the safaris at the perfect time. The lions were out. The giraffes were out. Black rhino, you name it. I got to hit Everest with no wait. I got to do dinosaur with hardly any wait. Had a bowl from Satuli Canteen for dinner, and stepped into line for Flight of Passage exactly as the park closed. Was posted as 100 minutes. I waited like 45. And
not bad.
Got to walk out through the bioluminescence, seeing everything glowing. Perfect little like 3-hour day at Animal.
There's honestly like nothing that hits like a late afternoon Animal Kingdom visit. It is just, if you're in the mood, it's like one of those things you could just do spontaneously. Love it. Did you try any of the new treats? I saw a lot of people were trying.
No, not yet. They always look beautiful and they always kind of all taste the same to me. I didn't say that out loud. Did I?
Mean, like,
but they look great on social media though.
Right, exactly. And you know what? The cupcakes are to blame for the social media phenomenon of Disney food.
Exactly.
I'm thankful for them, but I don't try
them. All right. Well, without any further ado, I think it is time for us to jump right into the news in the queue. All right, for our very first piece of news, pour one out for Murphy the Dragon, the Maleficent animatronic dragon in Disneyland, caught fire during Fantasmic, and he's a goner. This was a bad one, and as a result, they have shut down not just Fantasmic at Disneyland, but also the fire-breathing part of the dragon in the Festival of Fantasy Parade here in Walt Disney World while they figure out what went wrong.
Right. And obviously at the forefront is safety. We heard that everyone was safe, correct?
Yes. The last I heard was that there were some cast members who were treated for smoke inhalation, but there were no serious injuries. Thank goodness for the performer who's friends with Mickey, who was on stage. That's some scary video.
Right.
The Maleficent in Disneyland is much more sophisticated than the one we have here at Disney World. Disney World is basically just kind of like a cherry picker with a head on the end of a stick. But the one that Garner Holt built for California is, it's a full-fledged animatronic that just happens to have liquid propane, I guess, or some sort of liquid fuel flame throwing out of its head. Dangerous combination when something goes wrong. There's video all over the internet. You can find it on our website. I warn you, it's pretty scary, even knowing that no one was seriously hurt.
Right.
But
I didn't even want to watch it or post it because enough people saw that. We just hope everyone's safe.
yeah,
This stuff happens. It's interesting to see what will happen going forward, how that will affect other pyro.
well, yeah. I mean, we can expect in the short term, Phantasmic will be dark for a few days at Disneyland while they get this cleaned up and the damage assessed. And there is a B mode where they basically just have projections on the mist screen instead of having the dragon come out. And I think we're going to see that for a long, long time.
Right.
It'll at least be the end of the summer before they can rebuild one of these guys. I don't think they have a spare dragon just sitting in the closet somewhere.
No, they do not.
And when they updated Phantasmic at Walt Disney World, it makes me fear for their entertainment budget and nothing else, because this is gonna blow. I hope there's fire insurance, because otherwise it's gonna blow a big hole in the budget. It's a shame. I'm glad I got to see Murphy in all his glory a couple times when I was there last month, because he ain't coming back for a while.
No, it's definitely a Phantasmic at Disneyland just hits differently. It's I love it because you could just go around the river. It's a lot less high stress being in like a venue per se. So hopefully that will get figured out.
All right. Rest in peace, Murphy, and we look forward to seeing your clone replace you someday soon. All right. Next up, Disney Vacation Club has revealed plans to take over the cabins at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort. And I think this might be a little controversial, because I think a lot of people who are not Disney Vacation Club members have, family traditions at these cabins going back almost to the opening of Disney World. And while you'll still be able to rent them, even if you aren't a DVC member, I think it'll probably get harder and more expensive.
Absolutely. And I love staying at these as a kid. They were really fun. Can't say I've stayed at them as an adult. Not my thing. I have looked into it a few times. They are expensive.
Yes. They are not cheap.
Every
They're
time
not cheap at all.
Let's do this. And it's like at least $500 or $600 a night. And to deal with the internal getting around a Fort Wilderness, if you've stayed there, you could take, it's not just like, hey, here's the bus to Magic Kingdom. It's like, you got to walk here. You got to take this bus. It's a whole production.
The Fort Wilderness experience, whether you're camping there or you're staying in one of the cabins, is a very, very different than the typical go Disney vacation. You have to kind of set yourself in a different mindset, because it's going to take you forever to get there anywhere from anywhere else. But there are people who really love it. I haven't stayed in them myself, but I've visited people who stay in them. And really love them. First of all, the cabins themselves are getting changed out. There's going to be 350 new cabins, along with enhancements to the pool, the walking trails, and the dining experiences. And the new cabins, to me, look less like dressed up mobile homes, like dressed up RV, and they look more like kind of tiny houses. They're built to be environmentally aware, and to kind of blend in with the natural surroundings.
I mean, I kind of love this. My issue with why I wouldn't pay currently $500 to $600 for what they have now, the pools aren't that great. So I'd rather stay in like Grandestino Tower, where I'm in this like brand new luxury tower. I know this is a lifestyle. I know people come year after year. They do their golf carts that they decorate, but I feel like this is exciting. Also, my other big problem is currently now, like the natural light popping into a cabin doesn't seem like it's near as it's going to be now with this new
Yeah.
product. Seems
Yeah,
to
you
be
can definitely
so much
see in
better.
these concept renderings a lot of natural light being designed in. Um, they're uh, they're also being designed to be more energy efficient. They sleep six, and each has a bedroom, a bathroom, a living room, full kitchen, and a private patio. And a select number are going to be dog friendly. So that is good if you are into taking your pet on vacation with you. I think, those of you with long memories might remember Reflections, which was supposed
Mhm.
to be a new Disney resort being built along the lakeside. And they kind of tore some stuff out. And put up some construction walls. We walked past those when we were there for the reopening of the Hoop De Doo review. And then nothing happened. Everything
Right.
went dark. I think this is kind of the answer to what happens with all of that. I think
Right.
maybe some of the enhancements to the pool and the Trails End Restaurant and Crockett's Tavern that they're talking about, maybe those were originally kind of part of that project, and we'll finally get to see them as part of this.
Yeah, definitely. I did a fireworks cruise the other day. I told you at Magic Kingdom, and he
Hmm.
took us right up to Old River Country, aka
Oh,
Reflections was, and it was
okay.
really interesting because it's literally just like cement blocks.
Mm,
They didn't really
didn't get much further, huh?
get much done.
Yep. Well, as we mentioned, this is now going to be a Disney Vacation Club resort. However, there will be reservations opened to those of us who are not members based on availability. And the campsites are going to remain open to everyone. Those are the campsites themselves are not becoming DVC. This is projected to open in 2024, so not too far away. And they're going to call it the 17th Vacation Club Resort. So disneyvacationclub.disney.go.com is where to head if you want more information. Next up, we've got some interesting news from Splash Mountain in Walt Disney World, where Chickapin Hill has had its top stump demolished, kind of showing how the forced perspective illusion really made this ride look a lot taller than it actually was.
Right, that's a crazy photo. My question is,
It looks
when
so
do,
short.
it does. When do we stop calling it Splash Mountain and start calling it Tiana's
Just
Bayou
let's
Adventure?
just call it. Yeah, I don't know. It's
We just hyphen it. I
at
don't
one
know.
point it does it like pass 50% of the way there, I guess, and
Right.
it is less Splash Mountain than it is Tiana. I'm not sure. We're gonna have to wait for an official ruling on that, but until then, we've got some photos on our website that shows the progress of the demolition and construction of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Various iconic parts of the exterior, namely the top of Chickapin Hill, where the boats would dive out of, have been sheared off. And we've also got some fake dead trees that look like they're going to be coming down. A lot of painting, a lot of demolition, and a whole lot of scaffolding going on.
Yes, it's a major project to say the least, but it's moving. And then, as we found out recently, we finally have the date for Disneyland Splash Mountain closure,
Yes.
May 31st, and then they will be trucking along following suit.
Yes. So if you want to ride it, get on there before May 30th. And we've got some more nerdy details, some photos of construction along the track at the Walt Disney World version, some speculation on what might be staying, what might be going, and lots of pictures. So lots of stuff to get you excited for the new attraction coming in 2024. And also some rumors about what might be coming in terms of food locations right around the corner. So check all of that out at attractionsmagazine.com. Switching for a moment from Disney to Universal, we've got some aerial photography from our good friend BioReconstruct on Twitter, showing off the progress on the Mario, Yoshi, and Donkey Kong attractions happening in Epic Universe, just in time for the Super Mario Brothers movie in box offices to continue its reign. I think it's now the fastest grossing animated movie of all time, something crazy like that.
Right. Yeah, I'm seeing it this week because I've
I've
been
not seen it yet, but I was planning on just waiting for it to show up on Peacock, but all the buzz has been really positive, so I'm thinking I might actually go and see it on a big screen while I can.
Yeah, oh, same. I want to see. I know, like, it's coming to our TV. I want to see it on the screen, especially this. I might want to see it in 3D.
Yeah.
I'm a little
It'll
nervous
be
about.
like being on the Mario Kart ride.
Yes,
right?
exactly. This was a great story if you want to head to our site, because I loved how it talked about how, budget cuts happen. We know, we've seen it at Epcot. Obviously, it's a freaking mess. But will the movie's success affect the budget for the better here, which we could see it happen,
Well, it's very interesting because on the surface, the two Super Nintendo worlds that are actually open now, the one in Japan in Osaka and the one in Hollywood, are very similar. But you scratch the surface and you see it not only is one significantly larger than the other, but the Hollywood one, there's little bits of fit and finish, little things that were covered up or left exposed or seams that aren't quite right that you can kind of tell in Hollywood. Maybe they didn't put quite as much money into that last 2% of polish. Whereas I expect, after this, they're really going to want to make this shine and make the Epic Universe version the one that everyone wants to travel from somewhere else. Even if you've got a Super Nintendo world in your backyard, you're going to want to go to Orlando to see this one. So they're going to want to put that extra cherry on the sundae to make sure that it is the best one in the world.
Definitely. And I know this has kind of come up, like, with the Universal Park coming to Texas. Like, these other places aren't meant to take away from Orlando. It's maybe to give you hype, and then definitely go to Orlando to see this. This is going to be the crown jewel.
Yeah. Our friend Erico in the comments saying, yes, Universal Studios Hollywood does always get the short end of the stick. But hey, you've got the studio tour and Waterworld, so
right, I know. You win.
So if you go through these articles, we've got some speculation, we've got some aerial photography. We talk a little bit about some of the things that we know are coming and that we hope are coming to Super Nintendo World, with lots and lots of great aerial photography from our friend BioReconstruct. And also we point out some of the differences. For instance, did you know that in Japan, the Mario Kart ride is called Koopa's Challenge?
Yes.
Whereas in United States, it's called Bowser's Challenge. That's a translation issue with the name of the character being different in the games, depending on which version you have.
Yes. And it's fun to kind of look at the difference, even with the food, like, what did we get? What didn't we get? And I can't wait to play that game when Epic Universe opens too.
Absolutely. Well, I've got my my power-up bands from Hollywood, and from everything we know that you can already use the Hollywood ones in Japan, and we know that we'll be able to use them in Orlando too, and there'll be a lot more blocks to punch.
Yes.
So
if they will work by then.
the real thing this article points out is how massive the scale of all of this is. I was actually invited as an attractions magazine correspondent to be on WESH this week, which is the local NBC affiliate, on the news to talk about this. And one of the things I said was how, I was there at Universal when they built Islands of Adventure and got to tour that when that was a construction zone. And that was very overwhelming to be in the middle of. But I feel like you could fit Islands of Adventure inside just the hub of this new park.
Right.
And that, like, each of these lands, we call them a land, but they're almost the size of a park, a small park at least. And by seeing some of these big construction aerial photos, you really get a sense of how huge the scale and scope of this park is.
And how high our APs will go up.
Well, we do not mention this in this article, but your APs already did go up.
Yes.
I was amazingly lucky. I went to Universal on during the week, and I had gotten a notification that my AP was expiring in 30 days. And usually I wait right up until the line to renew it. I was like, I'm here today, I might as well renew. And less than 24 hours after I did that, they jacked the prices up by 100 to 150 bucks.
Right.
So yes, I am very, very grateful that I renewed, and that's going to keep happening.
Right. Yeah. Mine just renewed right before, but my sister was a little after me, and she's like, "Oh crap! I just saw my monthly payments, and it went up so much." But it's the best AP. Never
Yeah,
gonna.
I mean, I think it is still a better value than Disney's annual passes,
100%.
but it used to be like, half the price, and now they've steadily narrowed that gap.
Right. In their defense, they kind of should have. It was very cheap. It was very inexpensive.
So in addition to this first article detailing the Mario and Yoshi progress, there's also a second article that goes into the Donkey Kong roller coaster and points out some interesting things, such as that we've got some theming already on the outside of the building, this kind of gold-looking brick temple building, which could either be a test, it could be that they're theming that because it's going to be hard to get equipment in there to paint it afterwards. But this is almost 2 years out, and we've already got sections that look almost finished.
Right. This is exciting. I mean, they're like rocking and rolling.
Rocking and rolling for sure. And getting to see right now how the track for this Donkey Kong roller coaster, the trick track that makes it look like you are riding on one track when you are actually being supported by a different one. It was neat seeing it in the plans and the concept art, but seeing it actually being built and coming together is pretty nifty. So if you are into nerdy construction photos like we are, go and check out this great article. We've got video and, like I said, lots of great photos from our friend BioReconstruct. Okay. Moving on to some, slightly less happy news.
No.
Several theme parks throughout the United States are reinstituting chaperone policies that had popped up last year and faded away. Well, they're back in response to several incidents. And so this summer season, if you are visiting Worlds of Fun in Kansas City or a Cedar Fair park, such as Carowinds, Great America, or Knott's, you're going to need to have your minors accompanied by an adult.
Yeah, so I went to Carowinds over the weekend, and all the signage had already gone up. So, like, when you were pulling into the parking, there was, before you even paid to get in, there was a massive electronic sign that said the chaperone policy. There were signs at security, signs at the entrance. So they're really taking it seriously, and it's important because of all the incidences that have been happening. It's all about the safety.
There was during the opening weekend of Worlds of Fun's 50th anniversary season, there was a fight involving more than 100 teens. That is kind of the spark that kicked this off. But there have been other shootings and other incidences over the last year across the country. Big publicized one in Kennywood. So Kennywood has been enforcing their chaperone policy ever since then. But a lot of others kind of brought one up, especially around Halloween, and then kind of dropped it. But it's back. Another example, Dorney Park and Wildwater Kingdom in Pennsylvania. That's a Cedar Fair park as well. They're bringing back their chaperone policy starting May 7th. They vary. Some of them are for guests 15 and younger, some 17 and younger. So make sure you check the official website for whatever park you're visiting. I know traditionally during the summers, a lot of these parks, regional parks that have inexpensive annual passes, a lot of parents would buy their kids an annual pass, and that basically was like instead of summer camp or babysitting, you drop your kid off at a theme park.
Right.
And we've seen that, maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that was okay, but we're seeing more and more issues arising.
Right. It's definitely sad. I mean, the theme park is not your babysitter, and today is not 20 years ago. So I would
Yeah,
have loved this as a kid, and I would have been
yeah,
too scared to do anything crazy, but it's a whole new ball game. So
yeah.
check the rules.
Check the rules. All right. And also check the rules if you want to take advantage of a great new deal at SeaWorld San Diego. For a very limited time, SeaWorld San Diego is offering a free all-day dining pass with the purchase of a single-day ticket. So for $110 plus tax, an adult or kid ages 10 and up can get a entree, a fountain drink, and a side or dessert every 90 minutes throughout the day.
These are
If you time
incredible.
this right, you can seriously, like, I don't know if you're allowed to bring a cooler and Ziploc or Tupperware, because
Sure.
like you could feed your family for a week on this deal.
It's crazy. So I don't ever do meal plans or anything like that because it's just way too much food, and I'm more of a like, hey guys, let's
Ba-
split this.
Back in the day, Universal had a all-you-can-eat meal plan. This is going way back, and I would, for my purposes of my book, I would test it out once a year, do 1 day a year on it, and by the end of that day, I would always be so ill because
It is impossible. I did it recently at Knott's. Theirs is every 90 minutes, and I did it with my sister, and a friend.
oh my god,
And it was like, you set your clock every 90 minutes, and it's like, I don't know how anyone can
oh
do it every 90 minutes. I mean, this is a great deal because you're not paying for it. You can maybe do a brunch, then do a dinner, and that will be
yeah.
plenty
Yeah, I
food.
mean, I think even if you only get 2 meals out of this,
Oh,
at theme park prices, you can easily spend 30-40 bucks even on counter service food. It adds up quick.
oh yeah.
And I think one of the neat things is that this is not just burgers and fries. Yes, you can get burgers and fries, but they also have the Calypso Bay Smokehouse, which has brisket and ribs and chicken. And they've got the Hibisco Modern Mexican for street tacos. So there's some variety in there.
Right.
You definitely eat your way around the world, or at least around the SeaWorld.
Mhm.
Um,
Great deal.
and you probably don't want to combine this though with multiple rides on their new roller coaster
No.
Emperor. It's a dive coaster combined with unlimited food. Maybe not a great idea. Hey, you do you. You do you.
Absolutely. Just go there
Uh,
and eat.
and speaking of Busch parks, Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, first park I ever worked at, is opening a brand new coaster in May that I want to check out so
Me
badly.
too.
The
Oh,
Dark Coaster, North America's first all-indoor straddle coaster, has a opening day set for May 19th. And if you are a annual pass holder or member, you can get chance for an early ride access starting on May 11th. This looks
oh,
great.
I want to go on this so bad. I love, love, love indoor coasters. The straddles are not my favorite seat position, just the way your hips are, but this looks great. It looks so good.
Yeah. I am hoping that in terms of the ergonomics, this feels more like a Hagrid bike than a Tron bike.
Yeah.
It does look like
Mhm.
you're sitting up, and it's you're not kind of lying prone on it. So that's a good thing. But I was a fan of the old Dark Castle ride,
Mm.
which this is kind of being built inside of its old footprint.
Right.
And that was like the first Spider-Man ripoff that was actually pretty good. And it was a big deal for like a regional park at the time to have it. I was sad when that went, but this does seem like a worthy replacement. I've actually got a friend who's worked on, the queue and pre-show and the interior, and it showed me some pictures. And it really looks like they've taken the theming and the story and kind of continued the legacy of the old attraction.
I love that. Yeah.
And so if you're a fan of the old attraction, you're going to find lots of Easter eggs. And if you don't remember the old attraction, it's just a good, thrilling indoor dark coaster. So 48-inch height requirement on this one. And one of the interesting things is that you're going to experience over 2,400 feet of track, but there isn't that much track inside the building. They're using kind of a unique system where you're going to loop around through the ride more than once, but with different thematic elements and lighting, so you don't realize that you're doing the whole thing just looping around.
That's really cool. What I'm excited about is their partnership. I would do this coaster. It looks amazing. But I love when they do like those collabs, and especially at a Busch Gardens, that, they have that whole European drinking scene. This makes sense. They're doing a dark coaster black lager with a local beer company, which love to hear.
Yes, Virginia Beer Company is brewing the Dark Coaster Black Lager. It's a German-style Schwarzbier, and it has a 5.2 ABV. So yeah, that's got a punch. It will definitely make the ride even more exciting if you pound a couple of those.
Yes,
they're going to have it on draft and in cans. So
you have to do the can though, because they're doing a commemorative can.
Yes,
we have the picture in our article, and it's very cool.
So they are right now having a spring sale on annual pass memberships, up to 20% off. And they give you $20 to spend in the park for free. So that's a good deal. You can head on over to buschgardens.com for more information about tickets and the new ride. And I don't know, I say this every time we talk about Busch Gardens in Williamsburg. I miss that park, and I need to find a time to get back up there. No.
2023 list. So many.
All right, a little closer to home for me. My favorite convenience store is teaming up with one of Florida's classic attractions, bringing you the free Wawa Summer Fun Days at Bach Tower Gardens. If you don't know, in Lake Wales, Florida, which is not too far from Lakeland, which is where Legoland is, there is a National Historic Landmark called the Bach Tower Gardens. And Wawa, the Pennsylvania-based convenience store that has taken over Florida, is letting folks visit there for free on select weekends this summer.
I love that. So just get your shorty, and then you can go on a little family adventure.
You got to get a shorty, and I recommend getting the bread toasted. Don't toast the whole sandwich, but just tell them to just toast the bread
first.
Because, and this is why, when you go to a Wawa in Pennsylvania, it's a little crustier, the bread's a little chewier. There's something about the water down here. The bread isn't quite right, but the toasting gives it that extra little
crusty,
crunch, and then you got to pair it with a lemon iced tea. Because they make
diet green tea.
They make the green tea is excellent too.
So
but they make great tea, and it always helps to have some Pennsylvania potato chips or a soft pretzel to finish it off. So I'm sorry, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Bach Tower Garden.
Your shorty first.
Well, even if you don't want a shorty, that's okay too. You can still take advantage of this offer. They are giving free general admission on these select weekends. It's May 25th and 26th, June 29th and 30th, July 27th, 28th, August 24th, 25th, and September 28th, 29th. So you've got one weekend a month all summer long. And it doesn't include any of the upcharges, but you can roam through the nature trails, you can go through the children's play areas, and you can see the famous Singing Tower, which is the centerpiece.
Right. No, I love this because, Floridians have the beach, but once all the tourists descend upon it, it's like really hard to go to the beach. So families specifically try to plan some different activities as it
Mhm.
gets crazy. This is a great option.
And if you are, especially if you're staying at the Legoland Hotel, which, like I said, it's not that far away, and Legoland is amazing, Peppa Pig's great, but you're
Love.
gonna burn through those attractions in a couple days, and if you need a half-day attraction in that area, this is fantastic. This is a real piece of Florida nature and history,
Mhm.
and I highly recommend checking it out if you have the time. So thank you, Wawa,
Yes,
for the
the
free
best.
tickets. And Genevieve in our chat is thinking
Oh,
exactly what I'm thinking.
me too.
Now I want a hoagie.
Always, always.
All right. Okay, and we are going to wrap up our news in the queue with one final story about Marvel Move, which is a new fitness program coming to your smartphone from the creators of the fitness app Zombies Run. I love saying that title.
Yes,
This
this is
is an
cool.
immersive audio experience that elevates your exercise routine by having Marvel superheroes in your ear jogging alongside you as you train for that big 5K or marathon.
Yes, this is a paid service.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is not free. The prices are a little bit, I'd say more steep than your
Y-
MyFitnessPal or any of those.
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll cut right to the chase.
Yeah,
It is $75 a year. Right now, they're doing a special for $100 a year. That is definitely cheaper than your 99-cent app. Or more expensive. I'm sorry, more expensive than your 99-cent app. Cheaper than a Peloton membership, I guess. But hey, if you are a big Marvel fan and you need something that get you off the couch, and this does the trick, then maybe that's a good value to
right.
you.
And they have the training programs I saw, which those are very expensive. If you've ever done any of the Disney
Mhm.
races, like the Jeff Galloway books and stuff, so you can train for your 5K, 10K half, or full with a training program. So I guess you get your value if you're big into running,
Yeah.
especially a runner who loves Marvel.
Well, I thought it was interesting. I don't generally run unless someone's chasing me, but they do start off with a 5K training program designed to get you from absolute zero to being able to run a full 5K. And it's Thor and Loki guiding you through the town realms in this 24 um, episode, 24 workout program that spread out over 8 weeks to get you ready to run your first 5K. So if you need something to motivate you to do that, then great.
Right, definitely. I know a lot of
Yeah.
people complain that have to train in like cold weather conditions. They have to
Mhm.
train indoors on treadmills,
Oh
and
yeah,
that's so boring. So this would be perfect for that.
absolutely. It's a bummer I cannot try this out because I just lost my AirPods, and so I'm not listening to anything on my phone while
My
running.
condolences.
I
Yeah.
know, I love them. I don't know where I put them. Oh well. Anyway, if you are interested in checking this out, it is launching globally on iPhone and Android this summer. And you can learn more about it and access the pre-sale at zrx.app/Marvel. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of our news in the queue. And before we jump into this week's main attraction, we've got a couple sponsors to hear a quick word from. First of all, let's hear from our good old friends at MEI.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and MouseFan Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI-Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at mei-travel.com.
And now I'd like to welcome our newest sponsors, My Happy Place Jewelry.
We all have our favorite places around the world. Places where we dream of being someday. Places that bring a smile to our face when we think of them. My Happy Place is a symbol of your strong and deep love for our location. Our magical jewelry collection is inspired by the most magical places on Earth. You can keep it a secret or tell the story behind it. A special place dear to the heart, also called our happy place. Where is your magical place? Visit our website and discover now.
And for more information about My Happy Place Jewelry, visit myhappyplacedesign.com or visit My Happy Place Jewelry on Facebook.
It's time for the main attraction.
And for our main attraction, we are halfway to Halloween.
Woo!
And Halloween parties are coming back to the theme parks and the high seas. Disney released a flood of Halloween season information. And we've got Mickey's Not So Scary Party coming back to Walt Disney World, Oogie Boogie Bash coming to Disneyland Resort, and Halloween on the High Seas with the Disney Cruise Line. Oh boy. So we've got, it seems so weird to not even be into summer and already be talking about Halloween. But we got to plan ahead because some of these things go on sale really soon.
Right. I mean, here's this story. It's a different day and age than it was 10 years ago. Halloween is a lifestyle, whether you celebrate it at Disney World, Disneyland, Universal. I already have all my Halloween Horror Nights dates planned, hotels. You have to now. All these events sell out. They just get more popular. It's also word of mouth and with social media, you're not from an influencer standpoint, even your friends, you could see a mom friend post about this event. Like, I want to take my kids to this. These are very busy, very popular, and now start earlier than ever.
If August 11th seems a little early to be celebrating Halloween to you, sorry, folks, because that is when Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is returning to the Magic Kingdom Park. And this year, it is going to be 38 dates. Those are 38 dates where the Magic Kingdom will be closing early to regular park guests. So you are definitely, even if you are not interested in attending one of these parties, if you are planning to visit Walt Disney World anytime between August 11th and November 1st, you are going to want to carefully check your park hours on the dates of your vacation. On the one hand, visiting the park, especially if you're rope dropping on a day where it's going to close early for the party, can be a great idea because attendance tends to be really low on those days. But you're paying a full price ticket and you're going to be kicked out of the park before sunset. So you got to balance. You're going to miss out on fireworks and things like that. You got to plan carefully, even if you are not planning on attending.
Definitely. I will say last August, I had some wonderful daytime Magic Kingdom days.
One of the best times to visit.
Right.
Yeah. But
you really do a lot.
But there are things that you miss out on at the same time. So
right.
you gotta weigh that. And if you are interested in purchasing a ticket to one of these, tickets are going to go on sale April 27th to people who are staying at Walt Disney World resorts on one of these event dates. And on May 2nd for everyone else. There are going to be some discounts for annual pass holders and Disney Vacation Club members, but these start at $109 and go up to $199. And kids only save $10. I remember when these parties first started, they were significantly cheaper than buying a day ticket. That's not the case. They are the same price or on certain days can be even more than buying a day ticket.
Right. I
Uh,
will say, if you want to go and you do want to save money, just it's hot in August, but that's when you have your chance of getting those cheaper tickets.
mhm. Yep.
You know, and if you have a family, 4, 5, 6 people, that's a lot of
Yeah.
savings when you add it all up.
You know what? There was a time when there were other times of the year where I said, "Oh, this is the best time to go." Over the last few years, I've really come to August, as soon as Florida public schools go back into session, those last 2 weeks of August into the first week of September are really just wonderfully slow crowds if you can handle the heat and humidity. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
that's the problem. Is it like each year I get older, my tolerance is less and less for the heat. And I love going during that time. But for me, it's like pop into the park for a few hours and then swim for the rest of the day. So
Yes, yes,
you just gotta
great.
see
Yep.
what your
Rope drop until it gets too humid to handle. Go back to the hotel and then come back to the park for the last couple hours if you can.
yeah.
Um, there's going to be more details about Mickey's Not So Scary at DisneyWorld.com. But Disneyland is also bringing back the Oogie Boogie Bash to Disney California Adventure. Dates for this one have not been released. Prices have not been released. We do know that Mickey and Minnie are going to get some new costumes for Halloween time, but not as many details released about the Disneyland celebration. Um, my big questions for Disneyland is: are we finally going to get the villainous version of World of Color back, or is
Right.
that dead? I don't believe it's been explicitly mentioned in any of the. I'm glad I got to see it the one year it happened.
I will say with Oogie Boogie Bash, I feel like there's so much already to do. Like
Mhm.
I'm a crazy type A planner. I went 2 times last year and I did everything each time, but it took me almost the whole night.
Yes.
So I
Oh
think
yeah, jam
they don't
packed.
even need to have that because there's so much to do between like the spooky trails. You know, you have all the treats and the parade and the Redwood Grove that changes over into villains. There's really like not enough time to do everything.
And speaking of villains, if they were going to bring back Villains Night, this would have been the perfect time to announce it. But we have heard
Right.
nothing. We've had a lot of other Disneyland After Dark events, but they've all been in Disneyland Park this year. And we haven't had any Disneyland After Dark events in California Adventure. And I think I'm willing to declare Villains Night dead, at least for the time being.
Right.
Just sad because I liked that one. I thought it was a lot like Oogie Boogie Bash. Not as much stuff, but also a little less stressful because you weren't running around quite as much.
Definitely. And I was excited to see Halloween on the High Seas is
Oh yes,
returning. I did it last year on the Disney Dream. It's so much fun. There's like the best part I thought was the characters and costumes because it's not as crazy to meet them on the cruise like it is in the parks.
hmm
It was so fun to see them dressed up. I would like to see a little bit more like specialty food and drinks. They had a little bit in Vanellope's Sweet Shop, but I hope
hmm
that they kind of amp up those offerings, like sort of like how Disney does it. So many different snacks and drinks, So
I got to do one of these the first year that they had it, and I think my favorite part was the Halloween tree that magically
oh yeah,
grows in the atrium
that was
with
great.
these flickering pumpkins. I thought it was really clever. There's also going to be, if you are not in one of those three locations, there is Halloween happening at Disney parks around the globe. Real quickly, Disneyland Paris from October 1st through November 5th. See, that's sensible. Halloween in October, not August. And they're going to have a daily cavalcade in the Disneyland park. Hong Kong is celebrating starting September 15th, and they're bringing back their Let's Get Wicked show and some brand new merch. Tokyo Disney has got the return of Disney Halloween from September 15th through Halloween itself, including a parade. And Shanghai's celebration is going to have some special food and pumpkin decorations, plus much more. Of course, there is merch, everything from Fab 5 Halloween pumpkin ear headbands and glow in the dark Loungefly backpacks. There's so much stuff on Shop Disney. It's kind of crazy. If you want to go high end, I encourage you to get a authentic Indiana Jones jacket
Yes.
or dark saber.
Well, if you get the Indiana Jones jacket now, you could use it for the movie,
Yeah,
save it again, repurpose it for Halloween, whatnot.
absolutely. Just wear it to the office. Probably leave the whip at home.
Yes.
So there is going to be a pre-sale of special Disney villain tees and other merchandise starting on April 27th. And you can, as I mentioned, find all of this at shopdisney.com. We've also got a foodie guide to Halloween. We've got lots of videos of past Halloween events. We've basically got a complete Halloween overload
A lot.
on our website. So head on over to Attractions Magazine and check it out. If you could only do one Halloween event at a Disney park, which would it be?
Obviously, Oogie Boogie Bash, but I guess if we could throw international in the mix, I'd want to go to one of them over there. But I don't even care which one. I just want to do one of them.
Well, I've always been intrigued. I don't know if they're going to do it this year, but I know in the past, Hong Kong Disneyland has done kind of like haunted houses. They've done actually
Yeah.
scary Halloween stuff. And I would love to see Disney's take on a scary haunted house.
Oh.
I think that would be
That would be wonderful. I guess the closest we have is Oogie Boogie Bash because some of those guys are quite frightening.
Yeah. Well, I do love my favorite part of Oogie Boogie Bash is always the Redwood walkthrough, which is almost like a haunted walkthrough, but it's artistic and it's not jump scares, it's
creepy.
eerie atmosphere. So it's not so much scary as it is, eerie. But I do love that and would love to see Disney do more of those. They certainly have the talent to do something with Halloween that is, maybe not a Universal style haunted house, but I'd love to see what they could do with a soundstage.
Oh, definitely.
Someday, maybe someday.
We're ready. I'm ready for
Well,
Halloween in April.
that brings us to the end of yet another episode of the podcast. Before we go, we want to thank our sponsors, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, and our new sponsor, My Happy Place Jewelry. Once again, I want to remind everyone, please give us a review on Apple Podcasts and a rating on Spotify. And if you want to find more coverage from us and Attractions Magazine on the interwebs, you can find me at the UG Series on Twitter, at the Unofficial Guides on Instagram, and at theunofficialguides.com. Carly, where can everyone find you?
Yes, I am on Twitter at Carly Caramana and on Instagram at Adventures by Carly.
And you can find the entire Attractions Magazine team here for you 24/7 at attractionsmagazine.com, at Attractions on Twitter, at Attractions Magazine on Instagram, at youtube.com/attractionsmagazine, and at Attractions on TikTok. And until next week, we hope you folks stay safe, try something new, but most importantly, have fun, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.